Hey everybody, welcome to MVP Gaming Podcast, episode number 3. My name is Grimsforge. You can find me at Grimsforge Gaming on YouTube, and we are here with the owner of MVP Gaming, Jason. Jason, how are you?
Fantastic. It's a glorious Sunday. It's nice and cold outside, but I'm inside and it's warm.
Christmas is right around the corner. What have you asked for from Santa?
I'm actually dressing up as Santa and visiting a local children's hospital and giving out candy. I'm scheduled to do that Christmas Eve, so that is my Christmas gift that I receive is the thanks from the kids.
That is awesome. That is really, really cool. I don't get to do anything that epic. But, are you going to add a little twist? Are you going to have like a Batman utility belt on or anything like that?
Now that you say that, I might need to acquire one. I've actually, the costume is from the Christmas Chronicles, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
He's in the Christmas Chronicles, and it's his costume that he wears in that movie. I was able to find it online, so it's a little bit different than a traditional white and red. It's still a reddish color with some brown, and I have a very big, shaggy, gray wig and beard. It is pretty epic.
I need to see this. This is going to be great.
Done and done.
That sounds great, Jason. Tell me more about MVP Gaming Center. What can we expect with that?
Well, let me ask you a question. What if you could be transported into a fantasy world, surrounded by all your friends, eating delicious food, all while playing your favorite video games?
Sign me up.
Awesome, because we'd love to. Because we're trying to make that fantasy a reality with MVP Gaming Center. It's a new fantasy tavern esports center that's going to be opening in Kansas City. MVP Gaming Center is a place where, like I said, you and your friends can hang out, play video games on top-of-the-line PCs with high-speed internet, all while being immersed in a fantasy world with amazing food and drink.
That sounds great. When are you guys looking? Where are we at in the stage with that process?
We're funding right now, so if you're interested, hit us up on our website and let us know.
We are here today with a content creator who's expanding out from ESO, but that's how I met him, through Elder Scrolls Online. Epic-buttkkr, how are you?
My brethrens, I am happy to be on this podcast. It's new, it's interesting, it's exciting, an adventure.
Yeah, I'm working with you on a project. You're doing can I say what it is, or is this top secret?
Probably by the time this gets out, it will be out, the video. Maybe. Depends on when this is released, but go ahead. It's called, I could introduce it. It's called 12 Days of ZeniMax, alright? It's a musical starring as many content creators as I can get, and I'm still waiting for the recording with Grim, Zilla, and I'm waiting on Eddie's stuff as well.
And I'm going to do mine today. We might even do mine live on this podcast.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, what if we did that? I don't know.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yep. So, I think that that's an awesome idea. I like the fact that you're being super creative. We had been kind of talking about, so Jason, like ESO is kind of in a tough spot right now. They just recently started meeting and doing community. I don't even know what would you call it. Basically, they got all the content creators or stream team members together as a community, and they said, what do we need to do to turn this around?
Are they actually listening this time, or is this another bone out just to appease people and not leave the game like they are?
Yes, I don't know. All of that. For me as a content creator that's been there since, I've played the game since beta, and a lot of this is very reminiscent of it's a yearly cyclical thing that they do. Like, let's change the core mechanics of the game. Let's address the backlash from changing the core mechanics of the game. And let's paint a promising future. And then let's not follow through with any of it. And not to be super down on it, because I love the game too. And when I talk about it, I talk about it from a critical standpoint. I really wish that they would just listen to their community. And I know that it's not our game, it's their game, but We love the game and we want it to function properly. And I'm not pro. I'm a PvPer through and through, but I'm not pro PvP, or nothing. Like I do think that I do want to see fairness all the way around, but I'm really big on class balancing and abilities being balanced, and new armor sets, when they release them, we need to take balancing into consideration, not to release nuclear capabilities into the wilds. And I think tutorials are very important for new players. You need to teach people how to PvP. If you're not teaching them how to PvP, then their first PvP experiences are not going to be pleasant. And so I'm all about the future health of the game, and so I wish they would just come to that. And for Epic, I get the same feeling from him. He really enjoys making these videos, and he's got these entertaining videos, but the game performance hasn't been where we would like it over the last 2 years. And so now all of a sudden, like him, a lot of content creators are branching out and looking at other games, and it's really hard because it's not that you've built a livelihood around ESO. There's very few people that could probably make a living off of ESO because of its total viewership. It hands down as one of the least viewed games. And then when you turn around and add the PvP to the mix, which is even more niching it down, it's really hard to make a living on ESO. But the game is so dynamic and so much fun to do, and you can be super creative with it. You just really get attached to the potential and everything that's there with it. And so, but I don't know. I've rambled too much. Epic.
Yep.
For me, how long have you been playing ESO, and when did you start doing content for it?
Well, I started playing ESO at the very beginning of 2016, so right before Morrowind came out. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, exclusive, never before seen, only for this podcast. I used to be a quester role player, because I came fresh off of Skyrim, and I just enjoyed running around, completing the quest, writing my own story in the game, and pretending to be my own hero of Tamriel, because, at the time I was, I was 14.
Were you a cat?
So, cool.
Were you a cat?
Yes. Always have been.
Did you do it in first person?
Half and half. I learned the advantages of third person just through playing the game, so then I stuck to that more and more because the combat felt really good outside of that. But coming into ESO, I had no idea how to make builds, how to actually do any of the content. And it was then when I started struggling after like 3 years into the game, where I went to YouTube to try and solve my problems, because I didn't know how to make builds at the time. I didn't even know what a build was because I was so young. So that's where YouTube came into play, right? And then I saw a lot of videos on it, mainly from KevDuit, Deltia, Cypher, all those guys about it. And I saw how much they just talked about PvP, so I decided to try and run into Cyrodiil myself. And safe to say, I recorded myself getting X'd on the first night. And it was great, because I learned quite a bit from that. Instead of getting X'd and being like, this guy's overpowered, I'm never playing this game again, I saw that guy and I'm like, holy moly, you can do that in this game? That's so cool. I want to do that. And thus began my PvP journey.
Did you look up videos to figure out how to do it?
But no, I mostly taught myself. I just learned, like, the basic stuff I needed to, like, gear, what most builds look like. The gameplay aspect, no one actually covered how to play the game on their channel at the time. They just talked about stuff like how to, make builds and what armor sets to run, and I taught myself how to play this game. I learned how to animation cancel by myself, and then I looked up a guide to see, because I'm like, there has to be something about this on the internet, right? And there was, but I don't feel like it encompassed everything that there could have been to know about it, like animation canceling in this game. But yeah, that's another reason why I wanted to do videos for this game. But, I never really had the motivation to up until that point. And, eventually, I'm probably cutting out a lot here, because I used to Smurf and stick to just Battlegrounds, and I still play a lot of Battlegrounds. But eventually, okay, we're skipping a big part of the story here. I got all the way up to the point where, you know, the PS5 came out, right? And that's when content creation for me began, because I actually had a PS5, and at the same time, you know, it was just a lineup of everything I could ever need in order to just bring me out of a shell to actually start making videos for this game. Basically, you know, it was the combination of Zilla really encouraging me and telling me how it was when he first started out, because I was helping him push for Emperor at the time, because, you know, I picked up on his channel while I was looking for assistance with how to PvP, right? And it was also the combination of, I have a PS5 now. The quality of the things I record look amazing. I wonder what I can do with this. And then eventually I started pushing a little bit. I made my first build video, and you can hear it in my voice. I was not confident at all. I sat down for maybe about 3 or 4 hours before I actually started speaking, just trying to get something to say for the build video. And eventually I'm just like, you know what? I'm talking to myself here. And I just started shooting, like with my voice, and just started recording. And then I took that and I just turned it into a video. And that was my first build video. And I saw that I got quite a bit of attention on it. And, you know, once you get good attention on a video, you kind of get a little bit addicted to what happens, right? So, and then from... Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have a story on your name? At what point did you come up with Epic-buttkkr?
All right, we're going to have to go back even further in time for this one. So, you know what? You want me to just tell you my story of how I got into gaming?
Yes.
That would explain my name. All right. All right, so, in the beginning, all right, when I was growing up, let's say I was about 4 or 5 years old, my dad always played computer games. He was the original gamer. He would sit down with Mountain Dew and Doritos at his computer and play strategy games, and it was great. I consider him to be the original MLG gamer, okay? Because Mountain Dew and Doritos, all right? I got all my gaming finesse from this man, all right? And eventually, it got to a point where he got us a GameCube, because he's like, I don't know why he got us a GameCube, but I'm glad he did. And the only games we had on that was Animal Crossing and like this Sonic game. Can't remember. I spent way too long playing Animal Crossing. Eventually, I told my dad I liked gaming so much that he got us a PS2. And then on there, I can only remember one game that I ever played, and it was called DT Racer. And that game was so much fun. The car physics were broken. It just wasn't a very well put together game, but that's what made it fun. And eventually the PS3 came out, right? So he got that for us on a Christmas day, right? And I was playing a lot of Burnout Paradise because I was really into car games at the time, right? And since we got a PS3, my dad wanted to play it, so he got himself Battlefield 1943 on the PlayStation, right? And I'd come home every day, and he'd be playing Battlefield 1943 on the PlayStation, and I would be like, can I play that game? He's like, I don't know if you're quite old enough to be playing games like this. And, you know, eventually after about a month of bugging him, I can't remember, he said, fine, give it, have fun. And then I got into first-person shooters. At that time, I was playing on his account. So, and then from there, the more and more I played, my dad's like, hey, if you're playing this game so much, why don't I just get a second console so we can play together? And that's what he did. So then we played 1943 together, but for that to happen, I needed an account, right? So that's where this name came from. I had no idea what to call myself because I was like 10, maybe 10 at the time, right? And my mom just was like, why don't we call you Epic-buttkkr? And we tried that. It was taken, and my mom's like, you know, we can shorten it a little bit, and boom, there's my name.
So your mother was the inspiration for the name.
It's not really inspiration. She just came up with it because of what I was going to be doing in the game, which was killing people. And that's also how I got into PvP. I went from being a passive player to enjoying killing people in video games.
What an awesome story. Your dad's like a...
he's a pro gamer.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are like, his dad sounds amazing.
My dad is amazing. I love him very much. Yeah. Very thankful that he's my dad.
That's so cool. That's very cool.
I mean, I could go on into how I got into ESO, but, you know, like I said, came off of Skyrim that came out. It was just... I never PvP'd at the beginning of this game, though. Never.
Yeah. Did you have a bunch of mods for Skyrim?
Nope, I just played on console.
Okay.
I just went through and I tried to find everything I possibly could, explore every corner of the map, try every different thing I could, make the most powerful weapon I possibly could using the systems in the game.
Yeah. So, at what point did you jump from console to PC?
Right now, because performance was absolutely dog water in ESO on PlayStation.
Yeah, I saw there was blue screens and a lot of glitching and a lot of lag and latency, just issues, and to pair along with the bugs, so it makes it rough to play.
Does your dad still PC game, or is he a console gamer now?
He plays on both. He's got himself a nice PC, and we both have PS5s. I play Call of Duty Cold War Zombies with him from time to time. So, fun. Yeah, I still play first-person shooters. I keep up with the channels. I know what's going on with the game. And it's interesting to see how it compares to ESO, just like off topic a little bit. Like, the games, ESO and Call of Duty are going through, like, the same phase right now. No feedback from the developers, and a bunch of cosmetics being pushed in for, like, they're prioritizing making money over actually making a functional game. The game doesn't work, basically. But they're still pushing out way too many cosmetics and trying to make as many sales as possible.
Hey, so speaking of functional game, if you were to have a Christmas wish list for 3 things, right, for ESO, like these 3 things would be ultra impactful on the future of the game, what would those 3 things be?
I want them to focus on the community aspect of the game, because they want accessibility features for people to get into the game, right? If they want people to get into the game, 1, they do need to fix the game because it doesn't work, but 2nd, they need a good way of introducing people to social mechanics in this game. You're not going to get far if you're not playing with other people, because the second I hopped into a community, so I started, like I said, starting out in ESO, I played by myself, I was a quester, role player, you name it, right? The second I hopped into a community, specifically, you know, into the PvP side of community things, my knowledge of the game increased exponentially, and I was able to do stuff I normally wasn't able to do before. Like I said, I taught myself a lot of what I knew, but what I guess you could say my potential wasn't fully realized until I got myself involved with the community, because you learn so much, you make a lot of friends, and you just overall have experiences it's difficult to forget about in games. I think that you know, friendship, fellowship, just the fact that you can come together in a game like this is the thing that ZeniMax needs to take more advantage of.
Yeah.
More community events that, or better yet, tutorials, or telling people that the YouTube space exists for ESO as well.
Yeah.
Giving shout out to content creators, letting them know, hey, for the stuff we still haven't provided guides for, you know, you can check out these guys on YouTube, or, you know, they could put it in the game.
So they're not doing that right now? They're not showcasing content creators that are promoting the game?
No, they're not really doing any of that.
They have an official stream team, which are people that they kind of moderate their voice on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, they would never go with someone like Epic or I if, you know, like,
if you're too critical of the game, they don't want
you. Too critical. Like, we love this game. Hey, you really need to fix it. Block is broken currently, or frost staffs need to be reworked, or, you know, we say these things, and a big part of the problem is they have a PTS server, and the PTS server isn't utilized properly, because content creators will go to the PTS and they'll do videos on it, right? They'll do a patch note review, and then they'll go and they say, we've got Houston, we have a problem. There's 3 overpowered sets being introduced to PvP, and these things will break the balance of the game. Let's not release this. Please don't release these, or adjust these, or block is broken, or whatever it is. These things are found most of the time on the PTS server pre-release, and threads were created in the forums, and they were either getting deleted or removed or ignored. And so stuff still goes live. And then they circle back around to it a month, 3 months after release, and then they start fixing bugs or fixing problems with stuff that they put live, and then it leaves us content creators that use the PTS scratching our heads. What's the point of the PTS? Like, we're helping you guys locate and find these things. Still goes live. So
free QA testing.
Yep. So I don't know where to go with that. Another thing too is if all these videos right now that are being critical of ESO or critical of ZOS specifically, in the comments section, I would say it's 90% in agreement, 10% is wah, wah, wah. They're like, you guys need to get over this. This isn't your game. It's their game. And, whatever. There are some people that are very, opposed to anybody being critical of the game, and hopium or copium or whatever you want to call it. But the 90%, there's a reoccurring theme that comes up, and that's people saying it is so hard to leave this game because of the communities, the fellowship, the friendship that you build. That makes it really hard to walk away, because you're not. If it were just walking away from the game, you could do that in a drop of a hat. Game don't work, I'm out. But walking away from the communities and the friendships that you built over years, that's rough. And I guess the side note about that too is, if you took you pre-meeting the community and you just exploring the world, I think you meeting the communities is more valuable to the Crown Store or the cash shop, more valuable to them than the person that's just not engaging with anybody and just going around and questing all the time. I don't see that person dropping into the Crown Store and buying the newest costume and the newest this and the newest that.
That is 100% true. The only time I ever started buying cosmetics was when I had friends to show them off to.
Yeah, you got to show off that drip, right?
Yeah. Or you watch a video of someone else who's purchased it and they're showcasing it on their stream, and you're like, I want that to show off to my friends or something.
Yeah. You got to have someone to share the content that you get with.
Yeah. So I think they inadvertently hurt themselves. They kind of launched an attack on in-gamers, right? In-game PvEers, trials teams and stuff like that, and in-game PvPers for sure, because of accessibility. But a big part of it is those people probably open their wallets. This is their game. And the Crown Store is how a lot of people will joke in the in-game community, both PvE and PvP side, they'll say fashion is in-game. And so I think they inadvertently might have hurt themselves a little bit by just completely getting rid of their player base in game. I don't know.
I like what you were talking earlier about the fellowship and the friendship. I really do think that's the core of any game. I think that's the core of gaming in general. Epic, like you talked about with your dad, that bond that can exist as we reach out to others and really discover what gaming is truly in its core at. It's a community thing. If going back to Christmas wishes, I know we can come back to ESO again, but what would you take if you could go anywhere with your community? Where would you jump? Where would you jump with your community? To another game, or would you just fix ESO? If it doesn't get fixed in another year, where do you see yourself?
So, two interesting things you said there. Where would I go if I didn't play ESO? Honestly, I'd go where probably my community would want me to go, because I value what they say probably a little too much. I'd like to see what they say. From what I've gathered, they want me to look at newer games like New World, give my thoughts on it, and compare it to how it is with ESO. If it were up to me, I'd try, if I had the power to, I would fight tooth and nail to get ESO back on its feet. 100% if I had the power to. I'd fight to see this game, make it through another year, because I love this game so much. I built a bond with this game, not only through the community, but, through the solo experience I had as well. That definitely played a part, because without that, I wouldn't have wanted to look a little further into what this game had to offer.
The combat is so good, isn't it?
It's the best I've ever played in any game. That's the reason I'm still playing it after 6 years.
Yeah. You have that amazing thing, the combat. Everybody's like, this is next level combat, like live action, real time dodge rolling, blocking, putting rotations together, and stunning, immobilizing, debuffing. Like, it's just really, really compelling combat. And so it blows my mind every time they go and they do like a combat rework. And it's like, why would you touch the one thing that keeps everybody coming back? Just leave it alone. So, hey, Epic, before we move on to your second and your third thing, because increasing community, I think that's awesome for sure. I want to see your story that you just told us with you and your dad. I want to see that. I want to see you put that together on a whiteboard, like with a really young little Khajiit and your dad Khajiit and him playing at the computer. And then
never be a cat ever.
Yeah,
he'd have to be the biggest, burliest Nord of all time. That's how I see my dad. I see him as a gargantuan Nord man.
Okay. Well, maybe
not that I'm relatively large, but that's just represents him very well.
Okay. The other thing you should do is a best video of the year award. You should do like the funniest video, and you could do a poll on your community tab and come up with 3 or 4 different things, and then do an episode where you're presenting those awards to whatever videos of yours.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, you're giving me a lot of ideas. It's just, do I have the time to work on it? And I kind of already did that with my mega montage video I made, where I took montages from every single one of my builds and just combined them into a mega montage. That was
mega montage. Yeah. That was awesome. All right, what's your number 2? What's the second thing you would do to save ESO? You're the savior now. What are you doing?
Oh. So we have community. Next, I would probably bring ESO back to maybe update 33, 34, when combat was actually in a really good spot before they started nerfing everything. I would revert back a few patches. I'd look at, the game balance a little bit and see what we could do to adjust it. It'd probably take like 2 or 3 months to get everything just right, but in that time period, I would ask, if I had the power to, I would ask people what they expect out of a specific class, what role they want it to fulfill, and try and balance everything around that. I know you're never going to have something like everything's going to be perfectly balanced, but I think at the very least, everything should be brought up to the point where like Dragonite and Warden are right now. All the other classes, include like Nightblade's okay where it is as well. It's really good. But yeah. I think there needs to be a readjustment of everything in the game, including sets and stuff. Things need to be looked at and not expanded upon.
I like it. You're talking about going back to 33. I'd want to go even further back. I feel like proc sets and stuff like that in Mythics are fun, like very powerful, but there was a time frame in ESO PvP where I felt skill ruled the day, and skill was acquired through hand-eye coordination and time in. And that time frame for me was really fun in ESO, but then we started injecting kind of nuclear capabilities into the game, and then the dynamics of PvP changed a little bit. You could have somebody, it started to feel more Call of Duty-ish, like you just run in, try and nuke as many people as you can before you yourself get nuked, and then reset, respawn and do it again. And I don't want the battlegrounds and PvP to be boiled down to, or diluted, I guess, to just that. And I don't know, but okay. So that's number 2. You want to re-roll, redial, or dial back to 33. I can't remember. Was that a tank meta? We're definitely.
I can't remember. I just want my crystal weapon back.
Oh yeah. Did you use crystal weapon paired with Ellie weapon or?
No. Only crystal weapon. I want my Nighthawk back. That's my heart right there.
Yeah. So tell everybody about your Nighthawk, because I watch you play that, and I'm like, actually, your Nighthawk was the first. Was your first play style or build that I was watching you on, and I was like, this dude is really freaking skilled. because what you were doing was not meta at all, and you were absolutely nuking people.
That was better than the meta at that point. I'm not even joking. That was a one-shot combo, and you only had to make sure you... I mean, there was a lot more involved than just making sure it landed, because half the time it'd fly over their head, or you get pulled out of stealth by a pet. You really needed to know where your footing was in order to make that build as effective as it could be. Which was fun, because those were the kind of builds I used to play before I had a channel. Okay, you know what? I'm Mr. Stealth Man. If you can play stealth on a class, I'll be doing it, basically. I made a Dragonite, too, that can one-shot people just very recent. It's fun.
Nice. I need to see this. This will be fun.
I'll probably stream it soon. It's not super effective, because my Dragonite's an Imperial, but if it was a cat, which I have a cat Dragonite, it's just not leveled, it would probably undoubtedly be one of the fastest killing classes, like burst kits, that you could have in the game.
Well, that's scary.
Yep. Good.
Definitely have to do a video on that then.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want it to get nerfed, so.
Yeah. He has a thing with the videos he releases, the play style or the whatever ends up getting...
Every time.
Really?
It's a track record that's followed me throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
I have a theory. Cinemax, they go onto YouTube, they look up build guides, and they just binge watch them, and they're like, okay, so this is what we're nerfing next patch.
It's a shame they don't spend that time and that effort versus nerfing exploits or builds that are too strong. You know, why not spend that time fixing the problems if you're going to do something? Do the opposite.
Exactly.
You're hired, Jason.
Yeah. I should be the manager over there.
It's not that the builds I play are, you could per se, strong. Maybe one of them, and that would have been the Cowrian's Nightblade with Flame Blossom, but that's just because Cowrian's was actually overtuned. But it's that the fact that when I play a build, I know exactly how to use the build to maximize the effect I want to get out of it. So it makes it look a lot better than what someone who just wants to pick up the build can actually do with it out of the gate. That's why I put approachability ratings on my builds to let people know, hey, can you pick up this build, just toss it on and do well with it? Or is it something you're going to have to take maybe a few days, even weeks to figure out in order to get it right? I don't want people going in blind, because then they're not going to enjoy the build like I am.
Yeah, I love that on your build videos, because that's so true. And I don't think that some people appreciate or understand what they're watching when they see you on your Nighthawk, you know? And I'm like, that guy's dangerous. Like, the way he lines everything up, and it's bing, bang, boom, dead, you know? And, you know, the beginning PvPer, they're just like, cool, I want to do that, you know? But they don't understand what's going into it, so...
I stole Nightblade for an entire patch with that build.
Yeah. So your first one, increase the community strength, right?
Prioritize that before the combat even.
Yeah. And that will help immensely, especially with in-game. And then we won't have a brain leak from the game too. Like, a lot of your most knowledgeable people will be in the game and hopefully passing on that knowledge to new raiders, new PvPers. So that's smart. Plus, your in-game community is going to be more willing to open their wallets to the Crown Store. So that's a win all the way around. Re-rolling back to 33 might redo some of this.
That's any update that's half decent, as long as I get my Nighthawk back at the end of the day.
Okay, so we're re-rolling back to Nighthawk dominance. And that'll redo some of their work that they put in, and notably like their jabs animation, how they changed it. They basically gutted Templar's primary spammable and their passive, Burning Light passive. But if they rewind to 33, I would be okay with that, I guess. And then what's your last one? What's your last Hail Mary save the day?
Incentivize the proper rewards instead of tossing everything into the Crown Store.
I like it.
Because, yeah, first you want to have the community, because you want to have people to play with. And if I could add something on top of the note with community, I want to be able to have the ability to get maybe like 100, 200 people in a place together at the same time for something special in ESO. Like, imagine the kind of skits I could do if I had a bunch of people to participate in them at the same time.
Yeah.
That would be great. But yeah, I'd have proper incentives for doing activities in ESO as the third and final thing that could, you know, put this game in a good spot where it needs to be. Because currently, I mean, what do you get? What do you get out of PvPing? You get a few style pages that you collect after about 20 battleground matches, all of them. You get like 3 emotes, and then you get, you know, you do get meta gear if you can consider that a win, but I mean, other than being able to sell that for a minimal amount of gold because of how common it, you know, is in the store, the guild trader, what else do you get? I like the titles that you could get. My favorite title in the game is Chaos Champion because you have to deal you have to deal 500,000 damage to a ball carrier in Chaos Ball in a single match. I loved going for that achievement. Like, stuff like that. Achievements that say, hey, this guy actually knows what he's doing, has some decent skill at the game, you know, that kind of stuff. And on top of that, I'd love to have some more cosmetics to play with. Specifically polymorphs that you could earn for being, you know, decent or, you know, doing something in PvP. And also, like, skins, because, you know, skins are cool. And maybe even custom weapons, so that way you can kill people with style, you know?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
So you need more actors. We need to have an acting roll call for you. People can sign up to be to be extras in some of your videos. Yeah.
I gotta get bigger before that happens, and I'll have to make a Discord as well, which I will do in the future once I get a little bigger and I situate myself where I need to be for that to happen. But right now, that's a bit of ways away.
Okay, that'll be kind of cool. Yeah, I think that those, if you hit all 3 of those things, you're going to make an impact for sure.
Yeah, that's another big one, is just the rewards. You don't... The only reason I enjoy playing this game at the moment, like I said, is just community and, you know, how good it feels to play with the combat system in this. Build crafting is fun, don't get me wrong, but it's gone downhill because the game doesn't function properly and they nerf everything. So you can't make the things that you once could.
Yeah, and it really hurts to gold out a gear set that's functioning really well just for 3 months down the road to have it nerfed into the ground.
Yeah, that's why I'm always running purple gear, especially on PC. Half my gear is blue.
Yeah.
It's tough out here. And I don't have a guild trader I'm in right now, so I can't sell stuff.
Jason, what's the top 3 things that keep you going back to your game of choice?
Well, the top one is community. I'm in a, you know, Christian WoW community, and I've been gaming with those individuals for multiple years. I've had several communities over the last almost 20 years, almost the last 2 decades, that I've been a part of. But that's the reason why you keep coming back, is the people you game with, the community, the fellowship, the friendship.
I think a lot of people just want to be listened to and have someone play with.
Gaming's a lot more fun. Like, for me growing up, I grew up as a gamer. I'm probably your dad's age. And it was always gaming with my brothers, gaming with my friends, going over to someone's, taking the GameCube over to somebody's house, taking the Nintendo 64 to someone's house with the controllers, or bringing your controller that you purchased over to your friend's house, so that way you could all be in the same room gaming together. And technology has allowed us to be in different rooms and still accomplish that same thing, because we're social creatures as humans. We like to be with other people. We get 100%. Rewarded that way. We get validated that way. And I think community, fellowship, friendship is super important for anyone, regardless of race, creed, nationality, or religion, or no religion. We just need that community. We need that interaction because we can build and help one another.
I agree. I like when I pop into my Discord, say I've had a rough day, you know, and I just kind of take a peek in my Discord and I see like 10 people in the Discord channel randomly, and I go in there and they're all just laughing and talking about whatever it is, you know, and that's really cool that those people from all over the world can just meet up. We've got Solid. He's you know, halfway around the world, and then we've got Moon is in California, and we've got Bacon is in Texas, and you know, we know where all these people are, and they're just all meeting here. They choose to be here, you know.
I think the old NBC television program Cheers had it right, where everybody knows your name. There it was a bar. They went because they were friends. They knew each other. They knew each other's problems, their struggles, their strengths, their weaknesses. Today, it's a lot of times Discord, but it's still that same thing. It's where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
People just want to be heard.
Yeah.
They want to have a voice, and I love giving that to people if I can.
So, as far as content creation goes, I've had Kev do it on a podcast before. Really, really cool guy. And your content seems like it has a little dash of Kev do it in it. Is he somebody that you like?
Like I said, when I started trying to figure out extra things about this game, he was always the one that came up on the search results for the first. So, yes, he had a part. I don't want to copy his style specifically, but, you know, the main difference between me and him is probably our characters.
Yeah, you've got the way you utilize the Khajiit. Actually, that's really you. That's really you. Yeah.
It is. It's you. I'm looking at you right now.
Yep.
Well, I also try and explain stuff more than it should be explained, and, you know, while I'm explaining it, I keep it in the simplest terms I can, so people who, you know, maybe don't have the best understanding of something can still get a good grasp on it. Like, I like to break things down to a real world level instead of saying, oh, this is an articulate piece of skill right here. As you can see, we have little bits of the part, and then instead of just being very confusing like that and trying to sound all smart and complex, get down to their level and tell them what it's about. Like, be at a level where everyone can understand what you're saying and trying to explain.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the
You
best
did
way
really
to do
good
that
on your Nightblade video with that, the one you did recently.
Oh, yes, thank you. I think the best way to do that, though, is also through storytelling and just having something to look at visually. Because you have visual aids, you have audible aids for people that, you know, just listen to it in the background, and you have actual, you know, examples of what's going on. I try to do that in the background at least.
Yeah. I like that video a lot. I also like your Halloween video. I think that the situation with your Halloween video, had it been any other game, you would have like 5 times the views of it, you know, just where ESO is at right now and what's going on with it, and the lowest viewership out of all MMOs for the most part, you know, plus it being in the PvP genre or PvP aspect of that game. That's why the viewership is where it's at. But the video quality was amazing. The editing, the delivery was just really good.
Talking about the dancing skeleton.
Yeah, it was a really good video. Really good video.
Super simple, made that in 10 minutes. Didn't expect much out of it. Like, for me, making videos, it's like, now I'm getting to a point where my channel's big enough, I'm starting to notice the view counts on my videos, because I'm like, hey, that's normal, hey, that's not normal, hey, that's great. But originally starting out, I did just kind of want to help people, because I figured, hey, no reason someone should go through the same thing I went through and not, you know, have access to the knowledge that I've learned.
Yeah.
Just wanted to help people. View counts are nice and all when you're first starting out. I hate the fact that now it's becoming more of a, I gotta make sure this gets a certain amount of views, or I'm not gonna feel comfortable with having released it. Like, for this video is cursed that I made trying to play something else. Like,
I saw that. Nice car.
Yeah. Just, I want to take it off my channel so badly, but I'm leaving it up.
No, leave it up. That's part of you. That's part of your story, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I purposefully also leave the old videos on my channel up as well.
Yeah. In ESO, I would like to see probably group sizes be cut in half from 12 to 6 in PvP. Specifically to address, so they released some broken sets like Plague Break and Dark Convergence and stuff. You think about when those things first came out initially, and the premise of them was to kill large groups. And it's like, why would you release these problematic sets into the game instead of just limiting group sizes from 12 to 2 or 12 to 6? I mean, like you can control that. And instead, let's really throw balancing out of whack and throw these sets into the game. And so I'd like that. But I think you pair that also with, there's a problem in ESO, and that's heal stacking and cross healing. And so cross healing would be if you and I were running, say we're not in groups together, it's me and Jason, and then Epic, it's you and Ninja. I'd be the Ninja, are running side by side. We're on the same faction. Right now in the game, I could throw a heal and it could heal you guys, even though we're not in a group together. And likewise, you could throw a heal and heal me. And so that cross-healing situation is causing problems in the game. And just to kind of explain it a little bit more to Jason, but Jason, if you had 2 heals on your bar, right, your abilities, and let's say they're HOTS, heal over time. One of them's a heal over time, and the other one's a burst heal.
Yeah.
And let's say that heal over time hits 3 players, not counting yourself. Well, that means all 4 people are going to get hit with that hot, right? With you hitting that. Now, you by yourself doing this heal over time, it might only equate to 1,000 health every 2 seconds, right? That's not going to be enough to save you if you're getting targeted. But if all 4 of us run that hot, you're running it, Epic's running it, I'm running it, and I'd be the Ninjas running it. Well, now all of a sudden we have 4K heals coming in.
Rolling as a heal over time.
As a hot. Because both problems are combined there.
Sure.
Not only are we allowing cross healing, but we're also allowing heal stacking. Everyone's able to use the exact same heal, and you can have multiples of that exact same heal on you.
So a relatively weak ability all of a sudden becomes a problematic stronger one.
Yeah. How are you ever going to kill that person if you can't mount enough offense to, within 2 seconds, to kill them? And so that, in essence, is where the problem is. Now, that's only 4 people. Imagine group sizes are allowed to be 12 people, and all 12 people are required to have that hot on their bar.
Wow.
Now all of a sudden they have 12K health coming in every 2 seconds. We're simplifying the math of it all. That's a real problem. And so that group will run around, and if it happens to run side by side with another group, now all of a sudden it's 24K heals, coming in every 2 seconds. You're not going to kill that group unless unless you're using these 2 problematic sets that they introduced to the game, Plague Break and Dark Convergence, when they first came into the game. And I didn't like that was the answer that how ZOS solves these problems when they directly control the problem.
They could have put in diminishing returns or lower effect past so many targets. And there's a lot of things they could have done there to diminish the effectiveness of the ability without having to implement something else to counter it. Yeah, and if you want to add to build diversity too, right? That's a thing a lot of people say ZOS or ESO does well with their classes and play styles. Every class and play style used to have a very definitive play style, like differentiating way of playing. If you make it to where you can't stack specific types of heals, so let's say that hot that we're talking about is a rapid regen. Okay, that's just the name of it. You can only have 1 account of rapid regen on you at any given time. Then I would think that it would cut down on the calculations in the game. It's not reapplying it, or maybe it is reapplying it, but you're not going to have multiples of it running and ticking
You know, you
Sure.
have to think that the mathematics in the game become infinitely easier when you get rid of heal stacking.
Yeah, 1 versus 24.
Right, right. You know, that's a lot less calculations going on every millisecond, you know, or
From the
whatever.
client to the server and back. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but then you also get the added bonus of build diversity, because now you know that you can't run rapid regen because Epic's running rapid regen. So one of you are going to run a different hot, a class heal, or a different ability within the game. If you're going to heal stack, it's not the same heal. We need to find alternate healing sources or abilities, and kind of build around each other. And so there's a little strategy involved with that. But now all of a sudden your build is very different. Your abilities that you're using is very different than what he's running, and we're really delving into that diversity, you know, diversifying the game. And so for me, I know I would like to see that. There is no new PvPer that's going to kill. You know, everybody wants to 1vx. When they see it happen, they're like Epic's like, I didn't even know that was a thing. That's awesome, you know? And everybody has that moment. But you take a new PvPer and have them go try to kill 4 people that are all healing each other. It's just not going to happen very easily, you know? And so that would be one thing that I would like to see is, well, 2 things. I'd like to see the group sizes go from 12 to 6 to limit the size of groups that are out and about. Now, that doesn't keep Frank's group from running side by side with Larry's group. Like, if they want to choose to do that, that's fine. Now, at least, we're not going to see healing going between the 2 groups. You can only heal from within your group. And so we'll limit heal stacking and cross healing. If you do that, I think it changes the face of PvP. What do you think about that, Epic?
I think that's a really good point, because imagine if you could spam rally over and over again, and every time you pressed rally, you'd get an additional 20% damage buff every time you pressed it, and it would just stack. That's basically what healing does, but you can stack it. Like, I think every ability should have a stacking limit. Like dots, I think dots, you can have like up to maybe 2 on the same person, 2 of the same kind of dot on the same person. And then for heals, it should only be 1 of the same heal over time, so that way you're more encouraged to just not use a bunch of that cheesy stuff anyways. But I'm also thinking, how would that be balanced around PvE, because that's also part of this game. And I think it would just come down to increase the amount of targets that the radiating regen or rapid regen could affect, and, you know, keep the healing where it is, but reduce the amount of healing you're able to receive from other players in a PvP at the very least.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that I can get someone to 5% health, and then a teammate all the way across the map presses 2 buttons, and they're immediately back to full health with a bunch of resists, and they can immediately go on the offensive and kill me because they're completely, fully, freshly buffed up, even though they did nothing out of their own power. They didn't make that decision for themselves. Like, I had that fight. That was my fight. I should have won that fair and square, but, you know, no, Mr. Oh, I have Honor the Dead and Rapid Regeneration over here. Comes in, just kind of ruins it.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm glad that you brought PvE when considering that, because I was thinking about that just from a PvP standpoint, and I probably should have said this. So just to let Jason know and anybody that doesn't know about ESO, but when you go into a PvP environment, you are actually hampered. The amount of damage that you do is cut in half, and the amount of healing that you do is cut in half, and that's called the Battle Spirit passive, right? In PvP environments where you can PvP, you now are inflicted or held to the Battle Spirit rules, okay? So what I would do is, just when you hover over Battle Spirit passive, which is basically anytime you're in a PvP environment, it'll read it currently reads what damage is mitigated by and what healing is mitigated by in PvP environments. It would just also read group sizes are limited to 6. Heal stacking, you cannot cross heal or heal stack in a PvP environment. And if you attach it to the battle spirit passive, you don't have to do anything with PvE, right? It won't affect trials, dungeons, anything like that. And PvE community will have no reason to hate the PvP community.
That's just too easy, TJ. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So that's how I would do it. Utilize the battle spirit passive.
I think they should increase the percentage reduction that healing is able to do also by maybe like another 20% on top of what's already there.
Well,
Healing
you don't like
health is just too
24K
powerful.
heals. Yeah.
No, I don't want some random guy who has 60k health on a warden coming out of nowhere with their polar wind and healing me for 30k.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I'm actually about to lose a fair fight. That's
Right.
just, I mean, it's nice in the moment because it's like, all right, here we go again, boys, let's go. But, you know, when you think about it, what did you learn in that situation to make you a better player?
Yeah. Hey, I never thought of that, dude. Why don't we all just make 60k health wardens and just spam polar winds? And we just run around as this unstoppable 30k burst heal machine.
I mean, nothing's stopping you currently.
Yeah. I don't know. But that would be something that I would address for the overall health of the game. For sure. And I think tutorials are very important too. You know, when you first start the game, they have a starting game tutorial, right? It teaches you the basics of heavy attacking, blocking, and bashing, right? That's it. But there's not a PvP tutorial per se. When you first zone into Cyrodiil, they don't always put you in the same spot, by the way. There's 2 starting zones. There's 2 starting areas, main bases for every faction. And when you first zone into Cyrodiil, you could be at the wrong gate. You could be at the wrong main base. But basically what happens is a NPC is standing right in front of you when you zone in. And if you decide to talk to that person, it will open up dialogue to, hey, do you want to learn how to set siege down and utilize siege and repair siege? Or do you think you're ready for the fight? But it's very easy to miss that in the way that they go about it right now. I think they did a great job with that, but they don't do a good job with, hey, you can be hard stunned every 7 seconds, and a hard stun requires you to break free. Otherwise, you can't use abilities for the full duration and you'll be killed. Or you can be immobilized, slowed, or rooted every 4 seconds. And they don't do a good job explaining those things and how important they are. Like if you want to turn a fight into a resource fight because the other person's not good at sustaining through extended fights. And they don't do a good job with animation canceling, like you were saying. And I think that was an unintended, I think they've even said it was an unintended byproduct of how open battle is in the game, how wide open, and intuitive battle is. They didn't intend on making it to where certain abilities would animation cancel into other abilities even better. And so there's that. But I would like to see a better PvP tutorial, maybe even something, and I'll never forget this in Final Fantasy 11. When you got to a certain point, and this wasn't PvP related, but it was one of the most epic things that you ever had to undertake in the game. You got to a certain point in the game, you had to battle this battle trainer, and I wish I could remember his name. It's been Final Fantasy 11's. It's been a minute since I played that, but I was pretty accomplished in it. But this guy would match your class and match your play style, and he would be one of the toughest fights. People would say, I've been trying to fight him for like a month.
Oh, wow.
2-3 months trying to defeat this guy. And there would be videos on how to beat him or how, what to watch for and what to do. And, but it was that stiff of a fight. And I thought that, that was really cool because all that time they're practicing and honing their skills and trying to lock this guy down, trying to use different abilities and different rotations and how to avoid damage, how to block incoming damage, how to self-heal and heal yourself. And I thought that was great. And as it stands in ESO right now, the only way you get that is through your community and meeting people or just your daily battlegrounds. And, it's going to take you 2 years to put any amount of knowledge together if you're not a stick to the objectives, because the battlegrounds are objective based for the most part. So I think a tutorial like that would be really good. Would you back that, Epic? Would you ever add to it, I guess?
I think they did an amazing job with the introduction quest to how Volendrung works in Cyrodiil. That quest is amazing. It explains exactly what the hammer is for and what it can do and how to use it. And they did it in a lore-friendly way as well. Oh, Sheogorath has stolen Malakath's destructive hammer, and he's just tossing it around in Cyrodiil like it's a joke, and he's like, I don't want you out there with Malakath's overpowered hammer and not know how to use it now. That would be silly of me. It would consume your soul. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but... Yeah. It's just an amazing way to introduce a mechanic that is in Cyrodiil, and they did it perfectly with the hammer, because they go through what they want you to do with it, how to use it, and what it's what it's for.
Yes.
And
you know what? You just more of that. You nailed it. You're hired, because Sheogorath, who's a...
You're not going to miss him either. Everyone knows who Sheogorath is. If you see him in the starting Alliance Gate, which you do, you're like, what is he doing here? I gotta talk to him.
A Daedric Prince. Yeah, he's like the Daedric Prince of trickery, and he's like Loki, I guess.
Okay. The Prince of Madness is what he's called.
Prince of Madness, yeah. You know what? I would utilize him. So, Jason, in one of the starting areas, they have this starting quest person, and they want to make sure that you don't miss this starting quest person. I'm talking about Stuga. Do you know who I'm talking about, Epic?
Yeah, she's not interesting.
Yeah. So, Stuga runs up to you no matter where you're at.
You know how long I've been looking for you.
You know how long I've been looking for you? And she'll say it like 50 freaking times while
like,
you're...
who are you? Like, who are you? Like, now, if it was Sheogorath or, some other Daedric Prince, he's, like, lying on the corner of a wall, and he's like, psst, hey, you. Yeah, you, over here. I got something for you. Like, I'd be intrigued at that point instead of, do you know how long I have been looking for you?
Yeah. Yeah, but if they make sure, and maybe he just pops up no matter where you go, if you're in the starting bases and you haven't done the introduction to battle, they need to use him, because I think you hit nail on the head when you said lore friendly. Yeah, Sheogorath, and the way they did that, really, really well done and very entertaining. They should do an introduction to PvP and how to fight, and look at your action bar right now. If you don't have a heal over time, and a burst heal on there, you're probably going to have a rough time. You also need a primary spammable or something that's your primary damage source. And then, maybe an execute, and just even basics like that. Like, people aren't being explained this stuff, and they're coming into PvP environments and just getting absolutely nuked, and then probably teabagged at the end of it, right, by someone that's super toxic, and they're like, I hate PvP, I'm never going back.
It'd be one thing if they didn't have a tutorial, but embraced the community and relied upon the content creators to educate the players, but by shutting the door, you have nothing on either direction.
Yeah, I would love that. I would like if they would use their official stream team to create evergreen content in that fashion. Like, you could actually they would actually hire one of their stream team people to create the video for them. Somebody that's knowledgeable in that field. Like, I don't want to see a Trials in-game PvE or making the PvP, how-to video. Maybe like where the quests start at, and what the quest entails and stuff like that, but they're not going to be able to give you the skinny on it all, so yeah, Sheogorath would be perfect for that. You nailed that.
I mean, yeah, if they're not going to have anything to put in the game to actually tell them how to play, then they do need to reference their community a lot more and what is out there, the resources that are available to them if they want to partake in that. I mean, ZeniMax, come on, you can hire me, put my character in the game, and I'll teach him how to play the game. Like, in a tutorial. Like, I would do that, 100%. if they were to recreate my character and let me voice him as an NPC to teach people how to play PvP, I'd love that.
That'd be epic.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I know exactly how to grab people's attention with my character. I would think.
That would be Epic-buttkkr. Yeah, that would be awesome. I could totally picture you doing that. All right, so it's decided. You're hired. The call's coming today.
Uh-oh.
It's your Christmas present from us.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, go ahead and Jason, just jump on the phone.
I'll make it happen. I'll call Bill Gates, or who's the current CEO? It's somebody else.
Yeah, Microsoft. Yeah, who's top dog?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd love that. Though. Imagine if they did, though. They took content creators' actual in-game characters and used them as points throughout the game to teach people stuff.
Yeah. I thought the class rep system was... The class rep system should have been utilized in that fashion. Like, if you want to learn about Sorcerer, here's the class rep for Sorcerers. Because they're, this person has 6,000 hours on Sorcerers. They know every possible way. They don't just play the meta way to play that class. They know every way to play Sorcerer. Here's that person. I think that would have been really cool. But then they got rid of the class rep system. So...
That if they were to bring back the class rep system, that would be another incentive to play the game, to spend time, to invest in the money in the store and all that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think that cross healing and group sizes, limiting the battle spirit, that would be a great start, and getting tutorials. If you can get the tutorials, and I love the idea of using Sheogorath the same way they did the hammer. And bare minimum using, and I don't want to say bare minimum use your community and use your community. They should be adding links to, hey, we found this Dragonite, how to PvP on a Dragonite video by so-and-so. Not even an official stream team member, right? But we found it by this person, and they listed it as a reference, because it was so well done or whatever. Here's Epic-buttkkr on every single class, playing every play style. So, but I think that would be great. I don't know what the last one would be. I think the last one, my third thing, if I got 3 of them, would be that they utilize the PTS better or get rid of it altogether. So if we're currently releasing things into the wild and they're bug-ridden and not working properly, the PTS has failed, right? I think that that's supposed to be their ability to make sure that the game can work functioning. And if 3 months of PTS isn't enough time to catch the bugs, eliminate the bugs before the thing goes wild, then it needs to be a 6-month PTS before things go wild. 6 months before the big whatever. And that means that they got to work that much farther out ahead. So it's a failed PTS, though, if things are still going live, and that includes broken gear sets and stuff. So yeah. So what's your future hold for content? What are you doing? You're staying on ESL. You're mildly exploring other games. What are you planning?
For my future, I'm not quite sure. The future writes itself, or I know it's already planned, but I don't know what it has in store for me. But you just as you live, it gets done. But for me, my goal right now, I guess you could say, is I enjoy growing my YouTube channel. I enjoy the fact that I can meet new people through video games. We already have something in common that we could talk about. And I love the fact that I can interact with the other content creators that, play the same game as me. I find that so much fun to just be able to, hey, you wanna mess around for a skit or whatever? That's so much fun. I want to get to a point where, so right now, for example, I know it sounds kind of harsh, but it's a reality. People don't give you credit unless you have a certain number of subscribers. Kind of dumb. But, so I was in Zilla's chat the other day, and this guy was getting on me like, oh, your opinion isn't right. What do you have? Where's your subscriber count? And I'm like, bro, chill. Look, this is my channel. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, congrats on the subscriber numbers. And then continue to be mildly aggressive. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be a little bit more recognized, right? Because that's always nice, but I want people to be able to come to my channel and just be entertained at the end of the day. I want them to walk away from my channel with a smile on their face, either having learned something or, you know, just enjoyed their time that they spent watching the videos that I've made. That's what I want to do, because I remember working my my first job, right, which was a few months ago, like 2 months ago. I would come home, I was completely beat from work because I had to drive an hour and 30 minutes to get there. I worked for 10 hours, and then I drove an hour and 30 minutes to get back. I had no time to myself. When I came home, I just wanted to relax, chill out, eat my dinner, and then, you know, go to bed, take a shower, do all that stuff. And in that time, what I wanted to do with the little bit of time I had was relax. So I wanted to watch someone that could put a smile back on my face and say, hey, everything's still fun and fine. And just, you know, I want to do that for people. I want people to be happy, excited, feel good. I want to bring that to people because it's hard to come by nowadays a lot of the time, I feel.
Yeah. You yourself have to stay in the right headspace to deliver that, right?
Yeah.
So, and sometimes that's tough. I know. I find myself in that same rut with ESO. You know, I'll go in and it'll be this just happened. Papa, a friend of mine, Papa, and I are running around, and we run into 3 sorcerers. We kill the first one, and we're fighting the 2, and his abilities stop working. Papa's do. He can't heal. He can't use any abilities. He can't light and heavy attack. It's a bug that's in the game. He can't use anything, and he dies. And he's so mad, and he's talking about uninstalling. He's sick of it. And I'm doing the best I can fighting these 2 people. And then all of a sudden, my abilities stop working too. The exact same thing. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I can't light attack. I can't use vigor. I can't use my burst heal. I can't use anything. Nothing's working. And you can see me pressing it. It's just not working. And I died. We go back to base, and he goes, I'm logging out. And I'm like, okay, buddy. And I was like, I'm out of here too. And we go play a different game, you know? And when those things happen, it's disheartening. It's really, really disheartening. So
I love the idea, though, Epic, that you want to be, as I'll call it, a light to the world, especially in this Christmas time. You know, we need additional lights. We need more lights in the world to bring cheer to people. So I love that.
I know how it feels to just watch a really fun video and have a smile on your face after you walk away from it. And a lot of the creators, like, I think another issue with ESO, I don't want to be mean to the other creators, but I know some of them put a lot of time and effort into their videos, but a lot of it's just kind of flaming on ESO. We haven't seen anyone like Kev do it who, you know, when he made a video, it was a big thing because it was just all fun and joy. It was entertainment. Now everything ESO content related is news or updates on the state of the game, and it's not, hey, we're doing a skit, we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna mess around, we're gonna have a good time. It's always just news. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. I don't want that. I don't want to do that. I do enjoy making guides. It's nice to, you know, teach people stuff, but if I'm gonna make a guide, I'm gonna do it in an entertaining manner, so you're gonna sit through it and enjoy the experience, like enjoy learning, basically.
Does that mean now is the time to do the special secret sauce?
Uh-oh, what is that?
Well, you were talking earlier that you have something upcoming, TJ and you, Epic.
Oh, do you want me to sing my part? And are you going to record it?
I mean, I can.
You don't have to. I just thought maybe.
We'll get together.
It depends on what you guys want to do. I'm cool with either one.
We'll get together after this, and I'll record my part for it. It'll be no problem.
All right.
So, yeah, I like that, though. I think you're going to do a great job being that. And as you're discovered more by more people will recognize that. They're like, I like this guy. He's not toxic. He's having fun with the game, and then when you see him out there in Battlegrounds, like he's definitely an epic butt kicker. So yeah,
that's another fun thing. It's like being recognized in game is really kind of cool. People walk up to me, say, "Hey, I enjoy your videos, dude. You're funny. I enjoy your content." It's just like I'm flattered by it. Can I say something else here, real quick?
always.
I was in the positions first starting out with YouTube and ESO and all that stuff, where seeing a content creator for like in game was just a really cool experience. Being able to talk to a content creator, and it's a strange feeling that you can't quite put your finger on, but when you're in a situation where you actually finally get to talk to them, like I remember the first time I was actually able to talk to Zilla, because I watched his channel for like maybe 8 months before I ever started getting involved with YouTube and stuff, right? It's you don't know what to say. You feel like you have to keep yourself to a standard, and I think I understand why that is. But it's just you're not ready for it, because you think that they don't have any time for you and all the stuff that they're doing, but that's not true. I feel like this is the same for a lot of other content creators, that they love meeting members in their community as well. Like,
So reach out. If you see Epic online, reach out and say hello.
yeah, don't be afraid to approach me. I do my best to be as approachable as possible. If you're gonna approach me and try and start something, though, like beef, fight, drama, or whatever, I'm just gonna ignore you.
What's your character in-game name?
Which one?
For ESO.
I got a lot of them.
Oh, we need to, or what's your name? I'm gonna ask everybody that watches this to send you an in-game gift for Christmas. Like,
let's go. Can you send me? Can everyone watching this who plays ESO send me 20 to 30 Columbine, Mountain Flower, and well, I got plenty of Bug Loss and Mountain Flower, so just send me like 20 Columbine. That'd be love.
Yep, I'm gonna send you a potato.
And that works too.
Yeah.
I'm struggling out here. I gotta go pick flowers for a living.
Yeah. Hey, you know about the apothecary satchels in Imperial City, right?
Yeah, I do that. I do.
Yeah. So now you could go kill players and turn around and use their Telvar to buy those flowers for you, instead of running around randomly hoping to find that stuff in the wilds.
Well, it's a little bit of a better investment to go pick flowers, because Icy's just dead and you just farm ads if you want Telvar.
Yeah. Well, I have a group down there that'll get you about 50k Telvar, 60k Telvar in 30 minutes.
Bro, where's this been? Hit me up right now.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay. Well, I think I had all my questions. How about you, Jason? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Epic, really enjoyed you on the show today. Thank you so much. You truly are a light, man. Appreciate it.
I try my best.
I agree. All right. High five. Bye.
Wait, what?